Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Armor podcast. Today we're talking about victimhood. We're talking about social media. We're talking about attention. We're talking about being a badass. Let's get to it. Welcome to episode 16 of the Mindset Armor podcast. I've been noticing a lot that people are committed to being victims. They're committed to victimhood. And they live there as if it is a neighborhood. And I'll tell you, victimhood is a very unpleasant place to live. And the thing is, nobody has to live there, but people are choosing to live in victimhood. They're choosing to live their life as a victim. And it can get kind of confusing because a lot of times we are victims, but we don't choose to be victims, right? Someone can victimize us, a situation we may find ourselves in. We are the victim of that situation, but to remain a victim, that is always a choice. You understand? So to become a victim is not always a choice. Sometimes it is, but it's not always a choice. But to remain a victim, that is a choice. So you understand, victimhood is a mindset. That is something that you tell yourself. That is something that you convince yourself that you are this victim. And what you need to do is you need to avoid the desire, avoid the urge to get attention, because victimhood very often, almost always, it turns into this request for attention. And it's natural, but it turns into a request for attention, and then we get addicted to that feeling of getting attention for whatever it is we feel like we've suffered through. There are people who, I've seen it for years, since social media started, or since I've been a part of it. They'll post something vague on social media, something like this. They'll say, "I can't believe this happened to me." And it's just, that's it. That's all they post. No details, no nothing. And then I look down and they've got 50 comments, almost all of which are saying, "Oh my gosh, I hope you're okay. Oh no, I hope everything's all right. Let me know how I can help." And it's support, but it's attention. I always look at it and I think, if something is so wrong, it can't be that bad if you are taking the time to post something so vague on social media. There may be something that happened. I get that. There may be something that went wrong that didn't go the way you wanted it to. But if it was so incredibly gut-wrenching or life-altering, you wouldn't have time to post on social media about it. Victimhood. The urge for attention, the desire for attention, is what will keep us living in victimhood. These social media posts, another example, "I can't catch a break." And that is probably one of the ones that is the most frustrating, because yeah, you can catch a break. You're alive. You've got a home. You're not broke. You know, the people that I see post that, and even the people who, if you are broke and you live in the United States, right? The most opportunity exists in this country. You catch breaks every single day. Let's just start with the fact that you woke up. That's pretty cool. That's a nice break to have. By the way, you posted "I can't catch a break" because you've got internet on your cell phone. Like, these are all breaks that we just take for granted because we prefer to be a victim. And we got to get out of that victim mindset. You're not a victim. You may have been at one time, but you don't have to stay there. That's not who you are. Like, you're not part of that team. You don't have a jersey that says victims on the front. That's not who you are. So get away from the poor me mentality. This woe is me, this the self-pity that it's nowhere to live. It's not a good place to live. I know because I lived there. I was the mayor. So you got to get out of that part of it. If you're looking for attention, give yourself attention. You're the one that's with yourself 100% of every day of your life. Nobody else is around you as much as you are. So if you're looking for attention, give it to yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. Have conversations with yourself. You need to create a relationship, a love affair with yourself. It's okay. It's not conceited. It's not obnoxious. It needs to happen. If you don't, I promise you nobody else will want to. And if they do, it will not be to the degree that you deserve, because you've got to love yourself. You've got to give yourself that attention first. And being a victim is the opposite of confident, strong, courageous. Right? If you've been a victim, fine. Deal with it, grow out of it, and rise above it. Easier said than done. I know. I hear that all the time. Everything's easier said than done. Everything is easier said than done. I can pick up a notebook. It's easier said than done. Everything's easier said than done. So what? Stop making excuses. It's a cop-out. Easier said than done. Shut your mouth. Get to work. It's worth it. I promise. Victimhood is easy. Healing, overcoming, that's difficult. That's hard to do. But I'll tell you right now, live by this rule. The hard thing to do is almost always the right thing to do. And the times where the hard thing's not the right thing to do is something that doesn't make any sense. It would be hard for me not to help my children when they needed it, in a life or death situation. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous. But when they need my help, but it's something that they need to learn on their own, it's hard for me not to help them. It's the right thing to do. So just remember, the hard thing to do is the right thing to do. Releasing that victim mindset is very difficult to do. But I guarantee you it's the right thing to do. Another thing that victimhood is, this victim mindset, it's convenient. It's super convenient. When things don't go your way, well, poor me, it's not, I'm a victim, my circumstances or other people. I had a situation where there was a scheduling issue with some people that I know. We were trying to take on this project, and we had scheduled it for something, but there were some other people involved, and it was about a third of the group that had something else come up that they could not reschedule. And so I and a couple of others would have needed to reschedule or to adjust our schedule. And I was willing, the others weren't. And so I adjusted my schedule. I moved clients from this day to another, to other days throughout the week. They weren't willing to do that. And they didn't have clients. I don't know that, really, honestly, I don't think they had anything to do, to be honest with you, because they couldn't provide anything, any reason other than it didn't work for them. So immediately, they turned into these hard asses, these badasses, and they wanted to argue and just attack. And everything was just so aggressive. They wanted to be badass. They were playing that role. Then, when we were discussing this as a whole with all the parties involved, they wanted to play victim. Poor me. What's not? Well, we're not being accommodated. We've been ousted. And it was poor me. You can't be a hard ass and a victim at the same time. You got to pick one. I recommend be a badass. That's what I recommend, because victim is weak, especially if you want to play badass and then victim. That's just a coward. That's what you are. Don't do that. You owe it to yourself to be a badass, rise above anything that comes your way. That it's, if life drops you off in victimhood, then stick your thumb out and hitchhike your ass back to badass land. That's what you need to do. You cannot stay with that victim mindset. You cannot live in victimhood. It is a garbage place to live. It has never been a productive mindset. It leads you to the low grade, at least low grade depression, which if anybody who's been there will know, is that can very quickly spiral into something far greater and more dangerous. But that poor me mindset that I talked about earlier is similar to the why me mindset. It's that, the same person who will say, I can't catch a break. Those people, it's the same thing as having that why me mindset. Well, what do you mean why me? Why not you? Are you special that life's not going to give you hardships and obstacles and struggles? Life's not going to test you? You're that special? You're special, but nobody's so special that life's not going to give them opportunity to grow. That's what struggle is. You're not a victim. You're a human experiencing struggles so that you can grow. Yes, it's painful, but that's why they call it growing pains. Labor pains. You see people, it's not worth it. The baby's not worth the labor pains. It's okay. I'm good. I don't need him. I don't need the baby. Right? Labor pains. You get something for it. You go through it, but you get something for it. Growing pains. You struggle. You ache, but you're growing. It's growth. Emotional growth. Looking at yourself in the mirror and deciding not to be a victim, not to stay a victim. That is hard as hell. But growth comes from the discomfort, the pain. So not why me? Why not me? I'll tell you why you. Because you're strong enough to handle whatever life throws at you. That's why you. So it's time to buckle down. It's time to show your strength that you already have. Don't wish for more strength. You already have it. Why don't you just tap into it? And the only way to tap into it is to convince yourself, commit to not being a victim. Commit to eliminating the victim mindset. That's how you do it. You're not a victim. You may have been at one time, but you do not have to remain. And that is a choice. This is the Mindset Armor Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Ross, reminding you that mindset is everything. Protect it.